All right, everyone. I'm so clogged up, but I want to do my devotional. The struggle is real. It's a 60-day devotional, and I don't know how much more we have left, but got my windows open, so I'm going to try to be a little quieter. My neighbors are outside working on their car, and I've been cleaning all day, and I'm just got major allergies going on. The other neighbor on the other side is blaring his music, and it's going boom, 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 boom. So if you hear that, that's what that noise is. Let's get started. Yesterday we read on seasons. So we are on seclusion today. So this should be good. Seclusion. So do you think this is going to be good or bad, being secluded? We're supposed to be, as Christians, separate of this world. I mean, I got a neighbor out here yelling and cussing. So I'm sorry if you hear that. But we are not to be in this world and do what everybody else does. We're supposed to stand out, be different, set an example, and share the gospel of what Jesus did for us. So it's okay if the neighbor hears me, I guess. Right? Okay. When I was a senior in high school, I had to take an art class in order to graduate. So I chose to take pottery. I was by far the oldest one in the class, meant for freshmen. But procrastination is my middle name, so I was surrounded by them. Ooh, I had to learn how to use the pottery wheel. And since I had seen the movie Ghost, I obviously knew what I was doing and needed no instruction from the teachers. I had my pile of clay on the wheel, and I went to town, convinced it was going to be a masterpiece of art galleries everywhere, that they would be lining up to purchase my art. Except when I was done, my pot looked more like a mountain you see illustrated in a Dr. Seuss book. Very abstract. Have you guys seen those Dr. Seuss books where the mountain is like different colors and it is just a blob of clay? Like, it really does look like that. One side was thicker than the other, tipping over, and everything was wet. I clearly overused the water and underused the teacher's instructions. I barely passed that class. Pottery used to be a big class back in the day, but by the time I got to high school, it wasn't even an option. It says in Isaiah 64:6, "Yet you, Lord, are the Father. We are the clay, you are the potter, and we are the work of your hand." That is such a beautiful picture of how God created each of us. He personally formed each of us with his hands, and it gave us a purpose. However, we have to keep in mind that when an artist wants to remake or make changes to his work, he has that right. I have gone through seasons in my life where I've become very comfortable with what I was doing and with what God was using me to accomplish. There are 3 different times I can recall where God told me to stop what I was doing. And in my mind, it made 0 sense to me because I was being effective for his kingdom, working hard to build his house. Why would he tell me to stop? Wow, guys. Have you guys ever thought about that? That God made you with his own hands? Wow. In those times, I felt completely broken and confused because I felt like I had lost my purpose. I have felt secluded from people and responsibilities. In my broken state, I'd ask God why he was doing this to me, why he was taking the things I was doing to serve him from me. His responses shocked me. He told me that he was putting me back on the potter's wheel to remake me into a new vessel, to hold the new assignment that he had and he was going to be filling me with. I guess he has that right, doesn't he? To put us in our place, tell us to stop. I think it was a good thing she heard that from God. That means she was at least paying attention. A lot of people, I think, when God says stop doing something, they just ignore him and do whatever they want. And that's good that she heard that. He also said that he needed to seclude me, because when an artist makes a piece of art that they don't ask for opinions of those around them, they create what they want to create for whatever they are creating it for. Kind of like an author. You know how an author, when he's creating the book that he's writing, a lot of times they go off to a cabin and be secluded. They need that time to have that alone time so they can think straight. He didn't want other people to speak into what he was creating. Jeremiah 18:3-4 explains, "So I went down to the potter's house, and I saw him working at the wheel. But the pot he was shaping from the clay was marred in his hands. So the potter formed it into another pot, shaping it as it seems best to him." I'm going to have to blow my nose, guys, here in a second. I'm almost done. Maybe we have been in this place too. Maybe God has secluded you and asked you to set down the things that you were doing, and it made no sense to you. It's not easy to be obedient when God is asking you to give up some things that you love, but it's necessary. The most important thing is not the stuff that you are doing, but being connected to the Lord. It's about relationship, guys. It's a marriage covenant with God. You know, having open communication and listening and obeying, being submissive, surrendering all to him. Sometimes that means allowing him to disconnect you, remake you, and prepare you for what is next for you. He doesn't do this to punish us, but because he loves us very much. He has a new thing for us to do, and often our current state would not be able to sustain us during the new assignment. Seclusion helps you to hear his voice, silencing the voices around you. Seclusion sets your focus on him and not stuff. Seclusion puts priorities back in order. Seasons of seclusion can be some of the most rewarding and peaceful filled seasons of your life. I totally agree with that, guys. It's awesome to be secluded and have that one-on-one relationship with God. I desperately wish I had that in my marriage. Seclusion, just me and my spouse, so we can bond. We only got it a couple times a year, and that was it. And we should have made it a priority. I think my marriage probably would have been saved if we would have made it a priority. But we didn't. We let distractions come in between us and separate us. And you know, you don't want that with God, for sure. A reflection. How do you deal with seclusion? Do you feel like you are being punished? What do you hear during seasons of seclusion? What have you learned about yourself or your relationship with God during seasons of seclusion? Extra credit. Take some time to have silent retreat where you are not distracted by the things around you, but where you can hear God's voice clearly. You know, as a single mom, we can't just go off and get a hotel unless you're a rich single mom. I'm not a rich single mom. So, you know, I seclude myself in the shower a lot. It's my time where I can sit there in a warm bath, maybe with some bubbles and a candle, in quietness, and I can think. And I love every second of that time with God. So, I also want to highly, highly suggest getting a prayer closet. Make it a prayer closet where you can sit and you can think about what God has done in your life and have prayer time with him. and worship. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I got to go blow my nose. Got my Kleenex. Not feeling good. So I'll talk to you guys in tomorrow's vlog. And we will read the next devotional. Thanks for watching. Bye.